Nora James walked through the glowing December streets with a kind of careful optimism, the kind that feels like holding a candle in the wind. The evening was crisp, the air thick with the scent of pine wreaths and roasted chestnuts from the corner vendor. Christmas lights were strung like constellations across storefronts, reflecting on the thin layer of snow coating everything with a soft, magical sheen. Hearthstone Cafe stood at the end of the block, its golden windows misty from warmth and laughter inside. She paused, smoothed her scarf, and reminded herself that she deserved good things, that she wasn't foolish for hoping. Her friends had insisted this blind date would be different. He's sweet, Nora, they said. Stable job, good manners, be nice to yourself and just go. She repeated those words as she pushed open the cafe door. Inside, families chatted over cinnamon pastries, couples leaned close, and the soft notes of a holiday piano melody drifted from a tiny speaker. Nora found a small corner table by the window, her favorite spot, and sat down, brushing away the snow melting on her coat. She checked her phone. 7 p.m. Her date, Brian, wasn't here yet. She ordered a cappuccino to calm her nerves. The barista delivered it with a smile and a dusting of cocoa shaped like a snowflake. Nora smiled back out of politeness, but her mind was somewhere else, thinking of the promise she'd made to start saying yes to life again. The minutes stretched. 7:08, 7:11, 7:14. The candle of hope flickered. Nora pressed her palms together, whispering under her breath, maybe he got stuck in traffic. But the whisper didn't sound convinced, not even to her. She took a slow sip of her cappuccino, rich, warm, familiar, trying to center herself. She had almost convinced herself not to be disappointed when the bell above the door chimed. A man stepped in, shaking snow off his coat. He was tall, with sharp features and a calculated kind of confidence. He scanned the cafe, saw her, and approached. Nora sat up, smoothing her sweater. "Hi, you must be. You're Nora?" he asked, eyes narrowing slightly. "Yes," she said softly. He stared for a moment too long, his expression shifting from curiosity to discomfort. His shoulders sagged slightly, like she'd let him down by existing. "I'm sorry," he said abruptly. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." Nora blinked. "Misunderstanding?" He let out a sigh, rubbing the back of his neck. "You just don't look like your photos. I think I'm looking for someone more." He searched for a word but found none that wouldn't offend him more than her. Nora's stomach tightened. He gestured vaguely. "More polished, more put together." She froze, humiliation crawling up her neck like fire. "I'm sorry," he repeated, but the words were hollow, a reflex, not remorse. Then, without waiting for her response, he turned and left. Just like that, the door shut behind him, letting in a cold gust of air that brushed against Nora like a cruel goodbye. Her eyes stung, and she blinked rapidly, swallowing hard. She wasn't angry, at least not yet. Mostly she felt tired. Tired of being weighed, measured, and dismissed. Tired of pretending she wasn't hurt. She stood, leaving coins beside her untouched cappuccino, and wrapped her scarf tightly around herself. As she stepped out into the cold, snowflakes clung to her eyelashes like tiny frozen tears. The city glowed around her, but she felt dimmed. The Snowman Twins. She crossed the street slowly, her breath fogging the air. On the other side, under the soft glow of a lamp post, she spotted two little girls kneeling in the snow. They wore matching red coats trimmed with white fur, identical hats with bouncing pom-poms, and bright smiles. That could have lit the entire block. They were building the tiniest, most crooked snowman she'd ever seen. Nora couldn't help the small smile tugging at her lips. Just as she stepped onto the sidewalk, the taller twin, or maybe she was just standing straighter, looked up. Her eyes widened, sparkling like icicles in sunlight. "That's her," the girl breathed. The second twin followed her gaze, gasped loudly, and clapped her hands over her mouth. "It is her." Nora blinked, confused. "Me." Before she could speak, the two little girls hopped to their feet and scampered toward her, their boots crunching in the snow. "Hi," the bold twin chirped. "Do you remember us?" Nora knelt slightly. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, I don't think we've met." The twins exchanged a dramatic look. "She looks just like her," whispered the smaller one. "Exactly like her," the older added. "Like who?" Nora asked gently. They said it in perfect, eerie harmony. "Our mom." Nora froze. "My name is Lily," said the bold twin. "And I'm Rose," whispered the quieter one. "And you really look like her," Lily added. "Daddy has a picture. And we've been waiting," Rose said softly, for someone who feels like her. Nora didn't know what to say. Their hopefulness was so pure it warmed her from the inside. Where is your daddy? She asked. Both girls pointed at once. Across the street, a man was crouched down, picking up groceries that had spilled from a broken paper bag. When he straightened, he looked up, searching. Then he saw his daughters with her. He froze, eyes widening. He rushed across the street. Lily, Rose, you can't just run off like. Then his gaze lifted to Nora. He stopped. Something unreadable flickered across his face, surprise, recognition, maybe even awe. He approached slowly. I'm so sorry. They sometimes get excited around strangers. But Daddy, Lily protested, tugging his sleeve. She looks like Mom. Rose leaned close to Nora and whispered, Mom was the nicest person ever. Daddy says we'll know when we meet someone with the same heart. The man closed his eyes for a moment, gathering himself. When he opened them, he offered Nora a gentle, apologetic smile. My wife passed away 3 years ago, he said quietly. The girls still look for pieces of her in the world. Nora's heart softened. I'm very sorry for your loss. He nodded. Thank you. I'm Ethan. Nora. Their handshake was brief yet grounding, warm, unexpected, significant in a way she couldn't explain. Lily tugged her coat insistently. Nora, she said with innocent certainty. Will you be our mom? The world seemed to stop, snow falling in slow motion, lights glowing softer, breath catching in the air. Ethan inhaled sharply. Girls. But Nora couldn't speak. The question hit something deep inside her, a place that had been lonely for far too long. Her heart thudded once, hard. She opened her mouth, unsure of what would come out. And Christmas night held its breath. For a moment, time itself seemed to freeze. Snowflakes drifted slowly through the golden glow of the streetlights, catching on Nora's lashes. Lily and Rose looked up at her with the innocent certainty only children possessed, the kind that believed love could be found by simply recognizing it. Ethan dropped into a crouch, gently pulling his daughters closer. Girls, you can't just ask someone that. You'll scare her. We didn't scare her, Lily insisted, crossing her arms. Nora tried to speak, to say it's okay or I'm not upset, but her throat tightened. So many emotions collided inside her. Surprise, tenderness, disbelief, and a strange sense of destiny that she couldn't quite understand. Sweethearts, she said softly, kneeling so she could meet their eyes, being a mom, that's a very big thing. Rose nodded. Yes, that's why we picked you. Ethan let out a defeated sigh, the kind of sigh belonging to a widowed father who clearly loved his daughters more than anything but couldn't always navigate their wild, earnest hearts. I'm really sorry, he told Nora gently. They mean well. They miss their mother. A lot. Nora swallowed. It's all right, truly. But inside, her heart ached, not because the girls had mistaken her for something she wasn't, but because of the depth of longing she saw in their eyes. It wasn't childish impulsiveness. It was grief, mixed with hope. A hope she recognized. Ethan stood and managed a soft, apologetic smile. It's freezing out here. Can I at least buy you a hot chocolate? As a small apology for all of this. The old Nora, the one who guarded herself carefully, would have declined. She'd have gone home, replayed the hurt of her blind date, and buried herself in a book. But tonight had already unfolded in ways she didn't expect, ways that felt strangely deliberate. She nodded. I'd like that. The twins squealed with delight. Dash dash dash. Inside the warmth of the cafe. They returned to Hearthstone Cafe, the bell above the door jingling as they stepped inside. The warmth embraced Nora instantly, easing the cold in her bones. Lily and Rose dashed to an empty table, the same one Nora had been sitting at earlier. They scrambled into the plush booth seats, arguing over who got to sit beside her. Ethan laughed under his breath. They've adopted you already. Nora felt her cheeks warm. They're sweet. Too sweet sometimes, he said, shaking snow off his shoulders as he sat across from her. It makes it hard to say no to them. The barista approached, and Ethan ordered 4 hot chocolates, extra marshmallows for the girls, he added with a wink. Rose leaned over the table. Do you like marshmallows, Nora? I do, she said. Especially the gooey kind. Good, Lily declared. You can be our friend. Daddy said friends should have at least one thing in common. Ethan choked on a laugh. I don't think that's exactly what I said. Well, it should be, Lily replied seriously. As the girls entertained themselves by rearranging sugar packets into the shape of a snowflake, Ethan leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. I hope they didn't make you uncomfortable. No, Nora said honestly. If anything, I'm flattered. He exhaled, shoulders softening. They haven't connected with anyone like that since Monica died. They're friendly, but they don't attach easily. Tonight was unusual. Monica. The name hung between them, a ghost, but a gentle one. You don't have to explain, Nora said softly. I feel like I should. He rubbed his thumb over a small mark on the table. Grief makes things complicated, especially for kids. They're desperate to feel safe again. To find something familiar. And I remind them of her. Nora asked. He hesitated, then nodded once. You look a bit like Monica. But it's not just that. You feel similar. There's a kindness about you. When they ran to you, it wasn't because of your face. It was your presence. The words hit her unexpectedly deep, deeper than any compliment she'd been given in years. Before she could reply, the barista returned with steaming mugs of hot chocolate. Lily and Rose cheered, grabbing theirs with eager hands. Be careful, Ethan warned. It's hot. Too late. Lily took a big sip and winced, sticking out her tongue. Rose giggled and passed her a napkin. Nora couldn't help laughing softly. For a moment, everything felt right. Like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. Stories by candlelight. As they drank, the twins began peppering Nora with questions. What's your favorite animal? Do you like Christmas movies? Do you know how to bake cookies? Can you braid hair? Nora answered each question, smiling more than she had all week. When the girls finally quieted down, distracted by drawing in the condensation of the window, Ethan turned to her again. You were on a date earlier, weren't you? She tensed. You saw. He nodded gently. I didn't mean to pry. I just noticed the expression on your face when you came out. Nora hesitated, then sighed. He didn't think I was his type. Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. Then he's blind. The simplicity of the statement made her heart stutter. He didn't give you 5 minutes, Ethan continued, voice low. But I've known you for one, and I can already tell you're genuine. Warm. Someone who actually listens. Her throat grew warm. You don't have to say that, she murmured. I'm not saying it for your sake, he said. I'm saying it because my daughters felt safe with you instantly. And that doesn't happen with many people. Nora glanced at Lily and Rose, their matching little profiles glowing in the candlelight, their boots swinging beneath the table. Safe. It had been so long since anyone used that word with her. A walk into the snow. When they stepped outside later, the snowfall had thickened, coating the world in a dreamy white hush. Can Nora walk us home? Rose asked. Please, Daddy, Lily added. Pretty please. Ethan looked at Nora. Only if you want to. I'd love to, she said, surprising herself with how much she meant it. The walk was short, just 3 blocks, but every step felt like stepping deeper into something delicate and beautiful. The twins marched ahead, kicking up powdery snow, while Ethan and Nora walked side by side, their arms brushing occasionally, sending tiny sparks up her skin. When they reached their apartment building, Lily turned suddenly and threw her arms around Nora's waist. Good night, almost maybe someday Mom. Nora's breath caught. Rose hugged her next. You made tonight not sad. Ethan swallowed hard, touched a gentle hand to each twin's shoulder, and guided them inside. But before disappearing through the doors, he turned back. Nora, he said softly. Yes. He hesitated, a shy smile tugging at one side of his mouth. Would you like to see us again? Officially this time, not as a rescue from my children's matchmaking. Nora felt her pulse flutter, like a bird finally finding a place to land. She smiled. Yes, I'd like that very much. Ethan's eyes warmed. Good. Then, Merry Christmas, Nora. Merry Christmas, Ethan. The doors closed behind him, and Nora stood in the falling snow, heart full, breath trembling, realizing that sometimes the best gifts were the ones you never expected. Tonight, she had walked into a blind date that rejected her. And walked out with a possibility she never saw coming. A possibility that felt a lot like fate.